Are you with me? Let me hear you. Go, Kings, go. Go, Kings, go. Go, Kings, go. Go, Kings, go.
Well, them's all she wrote, kids. No more LA Kings playoffs. No Stanley Cup for the Kings this year. No wins for the Kings this year. One Stanley Cup playoff win in, 4 years. Yeah. We went from 3 cups in 2 years, including a Western Conference final in the middle of that, to this. This is so depressing. I don't even have the energy to be mad at the refs. And honestly, there wasn't a whole lot to be mad at this game. No one got skewered in the face. No one got almost decapitated. There were a couple of questionable calls, but I feel like they're the kind of questionable calls you're going to get in any series. People are always going to disagree with the refs, so I can't even blame it on that. This was solely Marc-Andre Fleury and the fact that the Kings have scored 3 goals in 4 playoff games. Now, to their credit, the least amount of goals that's ever been scored in a playoff series was won by the Jets in 2003 in the Western Conference Final against the Anaheim Ducks. So we could have sucked more, but it would have been difficult. And it's not even necessarily that Fleury was really good. He is. It's more that the Kings have no offense. Yes, they won the Jennings Trophy in the regular season, and that's great. They only let in 7 goals, which honestly, 7 goals over 4 games of hockey plus 2 extra periods, that is pretty good. Especially considering you look at some of the games in the East, and you're getting scores that are 7-4. The Ducks lost yesterday 8-1. So it's not that their defense sucks at all, but defense wins you cups for sure. But if you can't score, you're not going to win any Stanley Cups either. You're not even going to win any games. The Kings bookended their series 1-0 to start, 1-0 to end. So depressing. The first period was awesome. The Kings came out in the first 5 minutes, had 5 shots on goal to Vegas's 1. By 10 minutes, they had 10 shots on goal to Vegas's 3. And then with a somewhat questionable power play for Vegas in the kind of back end of the first period, they ended still almost doubling Vegas's shots on goal. In fact, more than doubling. Vegas also had 8 blocked shots to the Kings 2, so the Kings were out shooting them, whether they got to Fleury or not, by a ratio of like 3 or 4 to 1. It was all Kings all the time. They were out hitting the hell out of him. Everything you looked at was awesome. The face-off circle was 62.5%. Kings were winning. Everything was going their way. They had clean zone entries. They had great puck management. It was just awesome, except for the fact that every time they shot, it was directly into Fleury's chest. Now, I feel like you don't have to know much about hockey to realize that when you shoot, like, right here, directly into the strongest part of a goaltender, it's probably not gonna, like Jedi force through them. Like, it's not going to materialize through their chest. I mean, common sense would tell you that's not the best place to shoot, for the love of God. Stop doing that. Like, try something different. Fleury had a lot of shots to stop, but none of them were incredibly difficult. Maybe in the third period, Kopitar and Brown each had some pretty damn good shots, to their credit. And to Fleury's credit, he had them too. So first period, a lot of potential. Hey, maybe the Kings aren't going to get swept at home by a team that's been in the league for precisely 1 season. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more depressing it gets. Okay. So 1 was fine. 2 was just not. They just weren't the same. They were not getting the connections on the puck. They couldn't really get out in the neutral zone. They were sloppy. Again, the shots they were getting on Fleury weren't great. There were only 7 Kings shots that period and only 7 shots from the Knights, and 1 of them went in. In the most obvious play of all time, Quick is over here. Pass goes across the net. McNabb is right here. Oh, empty net for him to shoot into. Yeah, it was frickin' Brayden McNabb. The icing on the already depressing cake. The guy that we left unprotected that Vegas took for their expansion draft this year. He's the one who scored the game-winning goal. Series-winning goal. So much more fun when Alec Martinez does it against teams I hate. Or wins the Stanley Cup. This is not the 2014 Kings who have the resilience to come back after a 3-0 series. It's just, it wasn't going to happen. I actually went into this game knowing that this was going to be the Kings' last game. And sure enough, after that goal went in, this is it. The life went out of the building. Most of the fans, they just weren't feeling it, and it felt like the Kings weren't either. It wasn't there. And I don't think it was ever going to be there. So the second pretty much continued in that vein of just not really great hockey, just nothing really going for the Kings. And the third was much of that too. It was just a lot of up and down the ice, no really exciting plays. They pulled Quick for the last minute, but honestly, like, guys, you haven't been able to score on them in pretty much the 59 minutes before that. You've had, oh my God, I'm so depressed I can't even do math. 4 games would be 12 periods, so they had 14 periods of hockey to score on them, and they only managed to do it 3 times, pulling Quick for a minute. Not really. Not gonna help. So here ends the LA Kings season. I guess I'll see y'all in September. For the record, I am officially a Bruins fan from now on because, well, let's face it, it's not just the Kings I'm addicted to, it's hockey in general, and I have to have someone to root for. So Bruins, because I have some really great friends in Boston. It's going to be the Avalanche, obviously, because they're my second team. Killer game against Nashville, by the way, if you were not paying attention the other day. Rene was pulled when they were up 4-0 early in the second period or possibly the end of the first period. Either way, kick-ass game for the Avalanche. So rooting for them in round 2, but probably going to have to switch to Nashville in round... Sorry. Avs in round 1, probably switching to Nashville in round 2 because as great as the Avalanche are, I don't expect them to advance either. God, I hate hockey. So Nashville and Bruins, those are my 2 teams. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but in round 2, I can do this. It's okay. I am also a Sharks fan. Yeah, it's come to that. Granted, the Sharks haven't actually won their series yet, but give it about 24 hours and I imagine the Ducks will be feeling much like we are. Chris Sutter was there. So for one last time this season, I will leave you on the positive note of our Dance Cam King.